multi-consecutive integers. Okay? And so on and so forth. Okay? Uh, we under at up to now, more or less we understand the math expressions already because we already have 3 examples. Okay? So let's move on to logic and reasoning. What are these words? What are this? What do they mean? Okay? So the ancient we in the first module we discussed the Greek mathematicians, okay, systematized gihimong sistema, okay, gihimong sistema ang pagsabot nila sa mga mathematical uh, thoughts o pagkuna-una nila nga uy math unsa man ning math, we represent math is represented in numbers, in sets, etc. Correct? No? That's how it is. But 2,500, more than 2,000 years ago, the Greeks, okay, tugay na kayo, more than 2,000 years ago, okay, the Greeks, they learned from other peoples. Then they said, oh, it looks like math is, or the study of numbers is important. We should organize it so that we can all share it and many people can understand it. So now, 2,000 years later, it is now very, very complicated, the study of mathematics. Okay? The, the body of knowledge, ang lawas sa kahibawan, the body of knowledge has grown and there are so many complicated things about math. Okay? But sa una, in probably in 2,000 years ago, it was just addition and subtraction and multiplication and measurements. Okay? And now, it's now sciences. Okay? So many sciences involving mathematics. Okay? So, the mathematicians systematized this body of knowledge, meaning mathematics. They established it into a deductive, okay, deductive or makuhaan, deductive science requiring proof or nanginahanglan og pruweba. So let us try to understand what this means. Okay. Deductive science or deduction. Deduction means, does anybody know or understand what deduction means? Yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
You
Yes.
understand deduction? All of you understand deduction? We don't need to discuss this? Okay? Or some do not understand? Okay? So I will assume some haven't understand yet. So please help me, those who understand. So deduction is to form an opinion. Okay? To form an opinion based on a general principle. Okay? What is a simple example of a deduction? So you deduce, let's say, there's a dog. The dog is male. Ang iro kay lalaki. Okay? So, how do you deduce? How will you come up with that statement or conclusions? Okay? So, you form as the opinion or conclusion based on your experience, which says that you know that male dogs have the male organs. Okay? Any dog, any male dog has male organs, always. Di ba? Pero lang, dili pwedeng, you cannot be that a female dog has the male organ or in reverse that a male dog has the female organ. Male dogs always have male organs. Okay? Is there anything in between? Okay? Naabay iro nga na ay either walay organ or nay duha ka organ? Wala man siguro, no? Correct? Okay? So your deduction is my deduction is I believe nagatuo ko, no? I believe that the dog is male because it has a male organ or it looks like it has a male organ or it stands like it has a male organ, no? Nagatindog ang murong lalaki nga na ay male organ. So, you deduce, you form a conclusion, or makuha nimo sa imong observation, you get it from your observation, so you deduce. Okay? Okay, I'm knowledgeable about dogs. You as a person, because you have seen every day maybe of your life, you have a pet dog or you see dogs every day, or you learned it in your science class in school, that dogs that have male organs always are generally called
Oh,
male dogs. So you deduce, okay? You
so this
form an
is
opinion based on the general principle.
bago na call.
Okay? Do we get
Call, wala barita, call.
the word to me? Do we
Barita
understand
o
the meaning of
katong
the word
Bear Brand, dila.
deduction? Yes, no,
Ha?
maybe, not sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Okay, good. Now, moving on. So, mathematical statements are analytical statements. Mausisahong pahayag. So, the statements are not questions. They are declarations. So, math statements are analytical statements that are proven, give pruweba by argument, okay, sa paglalis, okay, based on discussion and paglalis, argue, okay, than by experiment, okay. So you prove it by arguing or by argumentation, okay? Not by experiment, not by trial and error, okay. You deduce that the dog is male because you know of dogs, you have experience of dogs, you've seen a picture of a dog, no, etc., etc. Okay, but not because because not by experimentation that male ni siya or female. Di ta sure kung male or female kay isa ka nato, yakap-kapon nato, or tanaw nato kung musakay ba siya sa female dog. Yeah? So meaning ang punto, the point is you argue about it. Ilalis ninyo, dili kay tanaw ninyo niya, isulayan ninyo musakay ba ang iro sa babae nga iro. Di ba? Okay? So you do not experiment. You argue, you talk about it. Okay? Based on uh, based on whatever arguments you can come up with. So those are so analytical statements. Okay? So what is logic? Logic is the science of reasoning, mga tarungan. Logic is the science of proof, pruweba. Logic is the science of thinking, paghuna-huna. Or logic is the science of inference or similar to deduction or makuhaan, mabasehan sa lain nga butang. Okay? So that is logic. Okay? Logic is reason. Logic na kay proof. It's logic. Logic is if you apply pag una-una thought, yun na-una yun nimo. Wala ka nagpataka. Okay? Yun na-una yun nimo nga ay ang iro hinumdum ko sa ako ang science subject sa libro or na ako'y ito'y sa una or na may iro sa una or among silingan na ay iro sa una nga lalaki. Okay? So, reasoning, proof, and thinking or inference. Okay? That is logic. Wala nagpataka. Okay? You reason, you prove, you think, and you infer. You deduce. Okay? Logic. Okay? So logic allows us to analyze a piece of deductive reasoning. Okay? Deductive reasoning or makuhaan na pangatarungan. Okay? So you analyze, is the dog really male? Okay, you analyze, okay? And determine whether it is correct or not. Okay? Gusto ba o dili? Insakto ba o dili insakto? To determine, okay? Para mahibalan if the argument is valid or not. Okay? You analyze, mag-analisa. Okay? Dili magpataka. So that is math. Okay? It's based on logic. Dili pataka. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Dili 1 plus 1 is equal to 3. Di ba? Right? So when you say 1 plus 1 equals to 3, pataka ka man. Okay, so you did not use your coconut. Okay? So next is logic is a tool. Okay? So beginning today, you should try to use logic in your conversation, in your dealing with other people. Okay? You use it as a tool. Gamitin nimo ang logic nimo. Okay? It's a tool for working with complicated compounded statements. Okay? So sometimes when there are other declarations and there and long statements. Okay? What is a long statement? Example, my name is Edgar. I am 50 plus years old. I live in Davao City. No. So if those statements are sunod-sunod, you know, one after the other without comma, without period, then it's complicated, compounded statements. Okay? So we use logic to simplify it. Okay? First is name. Akong pangalan si Edgar. Period. So, based on logic, okay, we simplify it. You separate it. Okay? Akong pangalan, my name is Edgar. Period. I live in Davao City. Period. Okay? So, based on logic, you simplify it. Okay? Ang komplikado nga sagol-sagol nga mga pahayag. Okay? So, a language for expressing them. Okay? Logic is a language, no? To express working with complicated statements. A concise note, bubo na nota. Okay? Math, no? When ultimately when we should be able to use math, especially if we want to understand finance and get rich, math should be simplified into short symbols. Okay? Concise, mubo nga nota. Okay? And you should understand on how to use it. Dapat may balaan nato sa paggamit, sa pagsulat. Okay? So, logic is a methodology or sistema for objectively reasoning about their truth or falsity. Okay? Sa walay pagpihig, objective reasoning. Sa manang pagpihig, walay pabor-pabor. Is that another word for objectively or being objective? Okay? Walay pagpihig, sa walay pabor-pabor. Okay? Reasoning about their truth or falsity. Okay? So, any statements before you can conclude whether it's true or false, okay? Maski unsa nga istorya, dili sa mumusulti, you should not say whether it's true or false yet. You have to investigate and uh, make it pass through a analysis. Okay? It is the foundation. The logic is the foundation for expressing proof in all branches of math. So now we are talking about simple math, but soon we might come up, if particularly if you're in IT, you'll be coming up with very complicated mathematical statements, no? And in which case you should you should know logic very well. Dapat mahibal-an gyud nimo unsa gyud ning logic, kinsa man ni unsaon, how do you use logic, okay, in order to get into the best or the most correct solution to a problem. Okay? Example, in let's say finance, no? Kwarta. In finance, how will you determine whether you will borrow money or not? or if you will borrow money from person A or person B. Okay? So you simplify whatever your agreements to them will be, your options. You try to simplify to mathematical statements. Okay? You base your logic, you use your logic in order to come up with the most appropriate uh, uh, math expression to get into the best solution, okay? Or the best decision. Okay? So we need to really understand logic so that we will not be able to, or we will gain more in life. Okay? Foundation. Yeah, magsugod. Okay? Expressing formal proof in math. Okay? So, what is a mathematical proof? Okay? It's an argument that begins with a set of assumptions. Okay? Nagsugod sa usa ka hugpong sa mga pangagpas. Okay? A set of assumptions. Excuse me. Can I be excused for a minute? No? I'll be back shortly. Excuse me.
Hi, guys. Hello. Correlo.
Mingaw is real.
Okay, thank you for waiting. I hope that was just really 1 minute. So, a mathematical proof is an argument that begins with a set of assumptions. Okay, then proceeds to a conclusion by agreed methods of argument. Okay, so ilalisa ay hara mo gaw mo ma, ma, mo abot sa conclusion. Okay, math proof. So whenever there's a statement, okay, you have to assume first a set of assumptions. So, example, the dog is male, ang iro kay lalaki. What is the assumption? Number one, ako as a person, am I of good sight? Makakita ba ko og maayo? Diba? Then you say, oh, makakita ko og maayo, di maayong pananaw. Okay, good. So you assume, okay, makakita sa maayo. So nakitaan yun niya or I have seen the dog. Okay? Okay? Uh, so that's an assumption. Then you prove it. I have seen the dog. Okay, then you are a good judge whether a dog is male or female. Okay? Nakitaan ba nimo sa adlaw o sa gabi? Did you see it at night or day? Okay? You make those assumptions. Now, why am I putting qualifiers? So this is the set of assumptions in order to prove whether my statement is true or not true, whether my statement is correct or not correct. You have to discipline yourself to question statements, especially particularly one that involves what's important to you and what is important to you. Okay? Yourself, your family, okay? The status of your family, okay? Then your friends, your neighborhood, etc. Okay? So yourself, what is important? You feel what is important to you. Okay? That's the reason you need to question. Okay? So that you can get the best out of the situation. Mathematical proof, you need to put in a set assumptions. You have to question it. make it your own, that you will question almost everything in life. Okay? That will hit or that will affect your what's this? Your uh, your status in life. So example, what if it will affect your finances? That should be important to you. And so you should question as much as you can, but in a
Mathematical
in a
way.
logical way, so that you can get to the correct answer or conclusion. Okay? So mathematical proof, okay, begins with a set of assumptions, then to the conclusion based on agreed methods. Miuyon ng mga pamaagi of argument. Methods of argument meaning pamaagi nga paglalis. Okay? So there are a few methods, but once you get to know many of them, then you adapt. Okay? Uh, put it into your own words. Okay? I-adapt nimo, you adapt the method, but you be sure that it is more or less the most correct that you know of. Okay? In the same manner, ayaw pataka. All right? So, deductive argument is one that has a conclusion that is entailed by its premises. A premises is whatever it was based on. So, the dog is male. What is your premise? What is your basis? What is my basis? Because I know dog. I have a dog. I've seen the dog. I've seen many pictures of a dog, and I have seen that the dog has a male organ. That is my premise. That is my deduction, and that is our conclusion because I've seen dog. I know dog, etc. Okay, so you should always they should you should know the basis. Okay, now meanwhile,
Oh,
so next sentence is meanwhile the truth of the conclusion. Okay, the truth of the conclusion is a logical
ugma lang
consequence
magbalita
of the
pero kay
premises.
ugma lang
Okay,
maggatas.
so ang gibasehan, if true, then the conclusion must be true.
May nun nilang barita call.
Okay? At this point,
Alam mo
I
ka
have to
na
ask
ugma
you,
lang ang barita
did
kay
you get it
ugma lang
or
yung
not
inom ng
get it?
gatas.
If anybody did not get it, you specify where I should explain more. Come on, this is quite important, no? Because it will be the basis of your understanding math. Kumbaga, if maybe if you have difficulty or if you cannot really understand this, then you might not understand the higher math. So please, if there are some who still don't get or don't understand or have questions, come on, ask them now. People, hello, no question? Are you sure?
I'm good.
You're good. Okay. Okay, but if anybody has a question, don't hesitate to ask. Okay? Going back. So, uh, so the truth of the conclusion, okay? A deductive argument is one that has a conclusion entailed by its premises. Okay? So you always question. Going back to the example, we try to. My statement is the dog is male. Ang iro kay lalaki. Okay. What is that true or false? Hello?
False, sir.
False. The dog is male. Is it true or false? That's your answer? False? Anybody
Yes,
else?
sir. Because there are female and male po.
Okay. So, uh, your answer is lacking na pagkulang. Now, here's the tip. Whenever, kung, no, whenever there's a statement or a question, example, the dog is male, then you're asked true or not true, you do not know. You personally do not know because you did not see the dog. You do not know if me, as an observer, has clear eyes. You do not know if I know the difference between a male or a female dog. Correct? You do not.
Yes, sir.
Correct? So always the first answer is I'm not sure. So what's the first answer?
I'm not sure, sir.
You're not sure. Why? The dog, okay, going back. The dog is male. Lalaki ang iro. True or not true? What's your first answer?
Not true, sir, because I haven't seen the dog personally.
No. That's the second answer. What is the first answer? First answer should always be not sure. Diba? Di ko sure or ambot kung tinuod ba o dili tinuod. Okay? Then the next answers will be it depends on how you qualify it. So going back, the dog is male. True or not true? Anybody? Hello?
I'm not sure, sir.
Good. That is the correct answer. Why are you not sure? Why?
Because I haven't seen the dog personally.
Yes, diba? So, that is the logical way. Do not assume, no? Ayaw pagpataka. Why? Basin masunog. That's where you get lost or you lose something. Okay? So, uh, so when the truth of the conclusion is a logical consequence. So, there's a certain way. So, going back, the dog is male or female. The dog is male. That's my statement. True or not true? Then the first answer is
I'm not sure.
not sure. So, how will you prove? How? You ask questions, di ba? Right? So, you ask me. You ask questions now. Mangutana ka sa ako para ma-prove na ko nga lalaki o babae ang iro. Come on. You ask questions. Unsa may imong pangutana para masiguro ka nga lalaki nga tinuod ako ang statement that my statement is correct. Come on, ask questions. People. Okay? So maybe your first question be, sir, can you see very well? Makakita ka bang maayo? Okay. What will I answer to that? Yes, I can see very well. Makakita kong maayo. Maayo akong pananaw. Okay? Maybe the second question will be, sir, naakabay iro nga lalaki? Do you have a male dog? So I may answer maybe yes or no. Okay? So what if the answer is no? Sir, paano man ka makabalo kung lalaki o babae? So what is your method of knowing? Okay. You ask me, right? Because you're trying to prove whether my statement is true or false. Okay. So you look, you premise, you ask questions because that's the process of argumentation. One way of argument is you ask questions. Okay. Okay. So ask question. What's the question? First question. What's the second question? Sir, do you have a dog? I don't have a dog. Sir, how will you know if a dog is a male or female? Paano na ako may balaan? Kaya na may male and female sexual organ, whether a dog is a male or a female. Okay. So, maybe that comes to a conclusion. Okay. So, sir knows how to look at, identify the sex of a dog. Okay. So, your conclusion is, okay, so sir knows what male dogs have in terms of sexual organs. He has seen the dog. He probably has seen the sexual organ of the dog. Then probably the statement is true
Uy,
that the dog is male. Okay? So that's the conclusion. Okay? If the premise is true, the premise is that I know what a male dog looks like. I know what the male sexual organ of a dog is or it looks like. Then our conclusion is then sir must be correct in saying that the dog is true. Then probably the dog is male. Okay? So that's the conclusion. You ask questions, you argue. Okay? Of course, that is a simple way. We simplified coming up with a logical way of confirming the statement. Some other mathematical, really mathematical arguments, maybe definitely more complicated. But what I'm trying to point out is how to apply logic. There must be truth or correctness in the steps before you ultimately say whether the conclusion is true or not true. Okay? So usually, uh, in math, the question or the proposition or ang pagsugyot is a declarative sentence. So it declares a fact. It is not a question. Okay? We did not uh, if it is an open question where is the dog male or female? So it is a question, it is not a statement. But remember earlier, I declared the dog is male. Ang iro kay lalaki. So that is a declarative statement. I did not ask a question. So in math, that is a proposition. Proposition is a declarative sentence. Okay? Our example, the dog is male. Diba? Gideclare na ako, lalaki ang iro. Now, whether that is true or false, i-prove nato. We prove it by asking questions. Okay? So, are we clear about what a proposition is in
Yes, sir.
mathematical languages? How about the others? Okay? Please speak up. If you do not, then if I need to explain some more, then I will. Anybody? Ha? Usbon nato kung naa sa inyo wala kayo nakasabot. Kaya nga naman, why? It is critical in terms of how will you look at people from now on. Okay? Uh now here are a few examples, no? Number one, Mindanao University or University of Mindanao is in Davao City. True or false?
true.
Anybody? University of Mindanao is in Davao City. True or false?
True.
No, sir.
Wrong. Wrong
False,
answer.
false.
Everybody.
Also, I'm not sure.
No.
Not sure.
I'm
Not
not sure, sir.
sure. Okay? You question. Kaya nga naman, why? Our methodology, ang sistema so good karon, beginning today, you question whether a declarative statement is true or not true. Wala ka pa sigurado. So going back, number one, University of Mindanao is in Davao City. True or false?
Not sure.
Sure.
Others?
Not sure, sir.
Not sure. How about the others? Come on, speak up. Do we get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The others, ha? Those who did not speak, I hope you got it. The first thing that you have to remember whenever somebody tells you a statement, You question it.
Gago.
You do not believe it. Dudahan nimo. You question it. Kung gisultian ka, if somebody tells you, ikaw, gwapo ka ba? True or not true?
Not sure.
Ha? What? Not sure. Why? Malay mo, the person who said you are guapo is blind
Like a stick.
or sarcastic, okay? Or he may have he or she may have different bases, but the point is you are not sure. You question it. Dudahan nimo. Okay? But how will you prove that University of Mindanao is in Davao City? How can we judge whether that statement is true or not true? Anybody guess or answer? How will you
Google
prove?
Map.
What?
Google Map. Google Map.
Google Map? What else?
Reconnecting. Gago.
Picture.
Picture. What else? Okay. So you are all residents of Davao City. You have seen it. You have passed by it. You know it. You see it in pictures. You know so many things about it. So you are qualified to make the assumption whether it's true. Diba? But that is the second answer. What is the first answer? What is the first answer? Anybody?
Not sure.
Not sure.
Not sure,
Always
sir.
question it. Yeah. So, number 2, an example, Davao City is the capital of Davao del Sur province. True or not true?
True, sir.
Anybody else?
Not sure, not sir. Sure.
Not sure.
The first correct answer is not sure. What's the second answer?
True, sir. True.
False. Do you know what the capital of Davao del Sur is?
Davao.
Digo City. Correct? How do I know? How will Mr. De La Fuente know? Because he's been to Digo City several times. He has seen the description that Digo City is the capital, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so I know. I mean, so many sets of knowledge wherein I know Digo City. But so the statement is false. Clear? Number 3.
Yes, sir.
Panabo is a part of Davao del Norte. True or not true?
True.
True or false? Anybody?
True.
Not sure, sir. Sure.
Not sure. First answer is always not sure. Okay? Why? Ano man?
Unsa na call?
Katong those who answered not sure.
Unsa na
Why?
sa pangalan?
You explain to your classmates. Come on.
Luto na kan
Try it. Because somebody said it, we always question it. So we are not sure. If a boy tells a girl, sexy ra ba ka? True or not true?
Not sure, sir.
Not sure. Okay? Because, he might have different intentions. Okay? But in any case, the point is, you always question, is he an expert? What is his basis of sexiness? Etc. etc. Okay? Number 4, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. True or not or false?
True.
True. True, sir.
True, sir.
Not sure.
Why nga sir nga kabalo naman ko sir na ang answer is 2 yun. Why not
Yes,
say
you're correct. But I'm saying, but what what I'm saying, your mindset should always be, ang imong pagkuna-una ba is magduda kagyud. Per me, that is just the point here in logic. Okay? You have to prove first.
Yes.
Okay? But so the first answer should always be, ay di ko sigurado. So not sure. Oh, but of course, and the second answer is, we know math. From grade 1 up to now, I memorize or I no need to memorize the addition, di ba? So there's no question about that you're capable of proving it. But always discipline yourself. You always question. Okay? First reaction should be you question. Pagdudahan nimo. Okay? Pogi ba ako ang teacher? Si Mr. De La Fuente. True or not true?
Maybe.
Not sure, sir.
Not sure. Okay?
Not sure, sir.
Okay. Number 5. 2 plus 2 is equal to 3. True or
Not
not?
sure.
True or false?
Not sure, sir.
Not sure. Okay. Okay. So it's almost 7 o'clock. So, as I have been saying for the last few times, you always, first reaction should always be pagduda. You question it. Not sure. Always. Okay? Paniguro lang that you are going to get the correct answer in the long run. Okay? What if it's a question of billions of pesos? Okay? They say magnanakaw, kawatan si ang papa ni BBM. Okay? True or not true?
Not sure.
Not sure. They have to
Not
prove it
sure.
first.
Not sure.
Okay? So we will end tonight's session with that. Now I have to, for attendance, I will have
Sure.
to take a screenshot. Okay? You smile. I will take 2 pictures. So, picture number 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Picture number 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So it's practically 7 o'clock. Good night, everybody. So always remember, first answer is not sure. Okay? Maayong gabi sa inyong tanan. Good night.
Night.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. 7:03 p.m. na ta. By the way, thank you for watching guys. Love you all.